Are you trading Skittles over there?
You got 10 seconds. Okay, so raise your hand if you traded. Raise your hand if you traded. Okay. So your happiness level. We're going to talk about happiness level. Before you traded, and now after you've traded, are you happier? No? You're the same? About the same? Okay. Okay. Round two. Round two. You can trade with one other country. So, hold on. You have to do it as a country, though. So, like, this country can trade with, like, that country here.
Like, we have to trade.
No. And you don't have to trade. If you don't want to trade, you don't have to trade.
We want
So
to
trade with sour Skittles.
Yeah.
If you love the Skittles,
Okay, you guys will trade.
can we just like?
The whole group doesn't have to trade. Individually.
Sorry, we're blocked.
And now we'll pull it out.
There's no one else. I trade individually.
Yeah.
I just got Starburst.
10 seconds. All right. Now, time's up. No more trading. Nope, no more trading. Too late. Okay. So raise your hand if you traded. Now your happiness level, has it increased since you traded?
No.
Yours did? Yours?
Starbursts are good.
All right, that's cool. So you'd say I got something a little better than what I had. Is that what you feel? Okay. Now you have, what did we decide? 2 minutes? You got 2 minutes to trade with whoever you want to trade with.
I'm good.
Go ahead.
Hey, the tropical Starburst. I've got some regular Starburst.
Yeah, I'll take the tropical.
No, I don't want sour Skittles.
If you guys want a Snickers, you can trade with us.
Oh yeah, I want one of those.
Come get 'em.
I'm good.
Can you have one?
It's only 6
That'll last me like lunch.
That is almost
I don't make it for lunch.
You're out of our
Hey, I've got some other stuff.
You want to accept this?
Me.
We will leave your country in peace.
I believe it. I want the entire pack of chocolate.
There's 2 Snickers left.
Oh, we got it.
All of them if you don't trade.
I got regular Starburst.
I'll take an extra regular Starburst. I'll trade you this technically.
I never really had tropical Starburst.
I will give you.
Actually, tropical has.
Starburst people, do you want strawberry Skittles?
You guys haven't ever traded? Nobody?
Tropical Skittles are balls.
Sorry, but these are good.
No, I'd have to agree with you on that. You've got a pretty good product.
Yeah, never mind.
There's no reason for us to
Snickers
trade.
and sour Skittles. I'll change this sour Skittles for a sour Skittles. We want to trade for it.
You got 30 seconds.
I want the tropical. I want the tropical. I want the tropical.
Yes, I got a Snickers,
We're still bad.
and purple Skittles.
Ooh.
And regular Skittles.
I really like
Best.
You got 10 seconds. Last minute trades. This is like the trade deadline for the NFL. Trade deadline for the NFL.
Okay, we're done. Trading's closed.
Trading's closed. Done. Go to your seats. Okay. So now how many of you traded? Raise your hand if you traded. I traded. Now rate your happiness. Okay, so your happiness was, we'll say it was a 2 before this. Now 1 to 10, what's your happiness now?
Like a 6.
6?
Yeah.
So wait.
I'm already at a 10.
So a 6, so you're not like all the way
I'm happy with
satisfied?
this. So.
I don't really know what I want. I wanted it all.
Ah. Okay. So we got 6, we got 10,
I got
10, 8.
I say I'm at 8.
What's that?
No, broken scale. I'm
Okay.
11.
Shot 4. I accomplished my
11.
Okay, so could you say that your happiness increased?
Yes.
No,
Okay,
because it's
perfect.
already
So
red.
basically what this game illustrated was that the more that we trade, the happier we are. Would you say so? Would that be a correct assumption?
In many ways, it is.
Perfect. That's a great point to make. It did increase your relationship with others, right? With other countries. You built that relationship. Now you guys are kind of an alliance. You've got good policies going back and forth. So the first round is what we call a hub and spoke. So basically, in America, do we trade with, like, does Utah trade with Colorado or Mexico or something? You know, we don't trade that much stuff, right?
We trade.
If I want something in Colorado, I'm just going to drive to Colorado and get it. You know?
We trade furs before
Whatever. Yeah.
furs down in sessions.
What's that?
I think.
That's actually true. You're right. So there's a little bit, right? There's a little bit of trading here or back and forth here. The next round was what was called was region trading block. So that allowed you to trade with other countries, and you were able to get maybe a little more variety, a little different things than what you could trade within your own country, right? So we had the Starburst gang here. They didn't really trade with anybody most of the time except for one, or actually 2 now. But you guys didn't really trade anything in between. When you were able to go to different countries, maybe you're able to get some Skittles now. Maybe you're able to get some different kind of Starburst. Then the next round was the multilateral approach. And in that aspect, you were able to trade and get kind of whatever you wanted for what we had. You know, we don't have like every type of candy. We're poor college kids, okay?
He's from us, right?
No. They're yours. They're yours to eat. So basically, multilateral approach, it increased your happiness to basically the best it could be. So that's kind of what we wanted to point out. The more you have the ability to trade, the better, you know, the better your happiness should be, the better your standard of living. He mentioned that, you know, you've got that unity between that country. That's huge, because that, you know, being able to trade, it creates a lot of different avenues. You can trade for goods that you don't have the ability to get. You can trade for the purpose of creating peace. You know, that's kind of why they started the European Union in the first place, was to create peace between the European countries and promote, you know, good stuff. So say I needed salt. If I can't make salt, I need it from this country. So instead of fighting to take it over, we'll trade. And that way, there's no bloodshed into that. So that's what we wanted to do, kind of illustrate with the trade game.
So next I'd like to talk about globalization on the company level. And I want to start out by showing you some products and some companies that are in other parts of other countries outside of the U.S. So the first one, has anybody heard of this movie before?
Oh, yeah. Is that
Yes,
Frozen?
because that is the
No,
German
it's
version
La
of
Reine des
Frozen.
Neiges.
Yeah,
It's the
this.
It's
La Reine
basically
des Neiges.
Never heard of it.
You watched it in German? It is Frozen. It's Frozen in France.
That's a lot just to say Frozen.
Yeah. Okay. Unless you speak Bulgarian, you probably don't know what this company is.
McDonald's?
McDonald's?
Burger King.
McDonald's.
It looks
Oh
like-
yeah, it looks like McDonald's, doesn't it?
Maybe?
But it's not in the U.S. clearly. Okay. The next one. You know, pizza in Korea. It's a popular pizza joint. Huh? Papa John's.
You know what I like? Is
I
that
would say
pizza is universal. It is
I wanna
spelled
go with
exactly
Papa
the
Murphy.
same in every place you could ever try.
Dude, their word pizza has an exclamation mark? Or what's the
I'm assuming
exclamation
Papa has an I don't
It's a
know.
great question.
So-
Great question.
The next one. Has anybody heard of Tide?
Yeah.
Has anybody seen this product?
I've heard of fried chicken.
Well, not the Tide.
So you guys are bilingual. You guys know a lot of different languages. You know what all these companies are.
Well, it's got the English and then has the other language underneath.
That's a brand name, not English.
That's true.
Oh.
So why are these companies that we know in different countries?
Because they are
Globalization.
worldwide.
So they're global.
Marketing.
Because they're global.
Yeah.
Cool. Why?
More money.
To make more money. Okay, you want revenue, right?
More money.
So, if you, like we mentioned before, 95% of the population is outside of the U.S. 80% of the GDP in the world is also outside of the U.S. So 90%, 95% is outside the U.S. That's a lot of wallets. That's a lot of cash that we could get into, you know, if we make ourselves out, put ourselves out in the globe. So as you know, all those companies that we had before, they were all U.S. companies, but they are all they had made their way outside of the U.S. and are getting revenue from other sources. Now there's some downsides to globalization for companies. There's costs. What kind of costs would be involved in going global?
Like distribution.
Higher shipping costs. Why is that?
They're further away.
They're further away, exactly.
You gotta get like workers.
What's that?
You gotta get like employees.
Employees, so
And
you have
having
to.
someone find and train employees is probably expensive.
Yeah, can you use is it easy to use your distribution system in the U.S. to serve pizza in Korea?
No.
No, you need to develop another distribution system outside in these other countries. Any other costs?
Language.
Language barriers is kind of a struggle, isn't it?
Also culture.
Depending on
That's
where
like
you
we'll be doing in a second.
Whether or not that pizza is kosher or not.
That's true, yeah. So, what about government? What kind of barriers can government do?
If you're in a war, you're
They
not
can
really
say
gonna be
no.
having
They can say no, you can't sell stuff here.
Yeah, if you're in war, if there's civil unrest, you don't want to go into those countries. That could
It's not
cause problems.
Like when, with Iraq and Afghanistan, back in like the 2000s, when the gas prices started going up, it's because they weren't turning oil concern no more.
Yeah, yeah. And you said that they could say no,
Yeah.
which is a big thing. You know, in some places they could say, well, no, unless you give me some money, and then we'll let you in. And so that could be a big cost, you know, because sometimes companies will actually bribe government officials so they can get into the different countries. Who's heard of a tariff?
Oh, that's like that people who need to ship into all that help.
Tariffs is basically what you need to fill out, and you have to pay money to bring product into different countries. And then the last thing, cultural understanding. You nailed it. You have to understand culture, because there's some things that will work in like our country that won't work in other countries. And I'll actually show you a couple companies that did that. Whirlpool created a smaller, kind of more efficient washing machine for other countries and sent them out to so many different countries, to Asia, to South America, and almost all of them had problems with it. But did they have the same problem with it?
No.
Probably not. In fact, they did not. In fact, some countries, they like to be able to see underneath it, so they wanted it raised up on like a platform so they could clean underneath it. And so they created this platform to put that washing machine there. Some people wanted it front-loaded because they like to have shelves above it, so they didn't like the lid coming up. And so they had to make adjustments for that. And so just different cultural things made it so they can't just use the same product and throw it at other places, because they will see it differently. Another company that did this was Ashley Furniture. Now this is recent. They wanted to increase their revenue, and in doing so they thought, well, let's globalize. And so they actually talked to a customer, a Chinese customer, and he said, this is great furniture, it's a good price, it's good quality, but I can't fit it in my house. And he said, it's way too big. And so Ashley Furniture has to make smaller furniture if they're going to go out into China, so they can fit into the smaller apartments. Another company is Tide. I showed you that bag of Tide. That bag of Tide is actually exclusive to China. And the reason why is Tide came into China, they said, hey, here's our detergent. And they said, great, But this detergent is for a washing machine, and we like to hand wash our clothes. So they came out with Tide White, which was that bag that you saw in before, and it was for hand washing clothes, and they were able to sell a ton of these just in the first couple weeks. Their revenue just skyrocketed once they did some R&D and found out exactly what they wanted. And then another company is Walmart. So where's the closest Walmart here?
There's like one in
Riverdale?
and one in
There's
South Ogden.
One in South Ogden, there's one in Harris, or on Wall, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you go to the one in Riverdale, and then you go to the one on Wall, they're completely different, right?
No.
No.
In
Why
many
not?
ways.
Because they're the same.
Because it's the same company.
Same company, same suppliers, right?
But there's still different stores.
They're different stores. They may have even a little bit of a different layout, but they don't have. They're not
They
that
have the
different.
same
And
supplies.
some
Yeah.
stuff, sometimes they don't sell some stuff.
Sometimes the one on Wall and the one in Riverdale, I think, have pretty close to the same product.
Except, and then there's that one, like a farmer's market. It's kind of like a.
Oh yeah, the neighborhood market up here. Yeah, that's a little bit different.
Guys, I went to Charlotte, North Carolina to a educational conference, 06, just after you graduated. Oh, no, sorry, it's a little later. So like, it's actually about 08 when I went, and I forgot my hair gel, because I had my hair cut short and it wasn't laying down. And I was gonna go up and present in front of like 4,000 educators, okay? So I needed my hair to lay down. And there's a Walmart down the street from my hotel, so I just walked down to it. I'm in Charlotte, North Carolina, you guys, and it's Walmart. It looks exactly like the one I've got a mile from my house in Clinton. So I go in there and I start looking around for like the, the trial size stuff in the hair care area, and come on over. And so I go looking around, and finally I grabbed the person because I didn't see the products that were similar to what I thought, well, they're gonna be the same stuff. Well, guess what? The ethnic ratio in Charlotte is about 70% black, 30% white. The pictures on the products were of black people. I was used to having pictures of product of white people. And so I said, is that, she goes, yep, that's hair glue. That's what and they called it hair glue instead of hair gel. And so